Hey, what's up, guys? Oh man, it's been a while, huh? Okay, today I want to talk about the Jussie Smollett case, or jussie Smollett or something. I don't know. It's French, some bullshit. But where do I start here? I mean, this guy, he's basically said, "Oh, I was in downtown Chicago. I was just grabbing like a Subway sandwich, a sandwich at like 3 a.m. in the morning. Then I got jumped by two Nigerian MAGA wearing, Trump supported motherfuckers. They whooped my ass. They tied a noose around my neck and they poured bleach down my butthole." Trump supporters. I mean, are you serious? I mean, you lost me at Trump supporting Nigerians in downtown Chicago. That's where you lost me. Like, I'm like, what? This, what? This does not sound right. And then you found out that this idiot hired these two Nigerians to beat his ass, to stage a hate crime in order for him to get more famous, to get more publicity. This guy's basically just an attention whore. That's what he is. And he got his attention, but it wasn't good attention. I mean, oh my God. How stupid do you have to be? I mean, instead of hiring two freaking Nigerians to play as Trump supporters, you could have in downtown Chicago. I mean, you could have gone down to Alabama, down to Texas, down to Mississippi, hired two white guys to beat your ass. I mean, that would have seemed more realistic. I mean, if you're gonna do it, at least make it seem more believable. You know? I'm like, this dude, he wrote checks for these guys. Bro, you're supposed to pay them in cash. God. Just for the stupidity alone, just for how dumb this individual is, he deserves jail time on that alone. Like, and you, you remember what I was saying about race hustlers? Like, they've made racism this multi-billion-dollar industry, and they're getting money. These people are becoming millionaires off of pushing this racial narrative. So they gotta keep pushing this racial narrative. That's all he is. He's a race baiting, race hustling whore. He's a prostitute. That's what he is. That's what Jussie Smollett is. He is a prostitute. Same thing with these people, these news anchors, CNN, MSNBC. These people are prostitutes. That's what they are. And for this instant, a gay prostitute. Two Nigerian MAGA hat wearing fucking in Chicago. What? I don't know. You know, like I was saying, man, in this country, 2021, where racial, demand of racism is at an all-time high, but the supply does not meet the demand. They're demanding racism as if it's the 1800s, but the supply does not meet their demand. I mean, America is so racist. It is so racist that Smollett had to go all the way to Africa to find him two white supremacists. What? White supremacist population? America 0, Africa 2? Score 1 for Africa, I guess. In Africa with 3Ks. Africa! Oh my god, these people are losers, bro. They are losers. They are looking for race in everything, bro. They're scanning. They're looking for race in everything. And even when it has nothing to do with race, they're still gonna call it racism. Jussie Smollett. A case of Jussie Smollett putting a hit on Jussie Smollett. It was black on black crime. Fucking Kyle Rittenhouse trial. A white kid shot 3 white attackers. White on white. Still made it about BLM. But guess what? Guess what? Daryl E. Brooks, a black man, drove his SUV into a crowd of white people at a Christmas parade, injuring 60-something people and killing 6. That's not a hate crime. That's not a hate crime. Why? Because he's black? Come on, man. Imagine if the roles were reversed. If Daryl E. Brooks is a white man and he drove his SUV into a crowd of black people, injuring 60-something, killing 6. It will be blasted on the news, all over the place. Not just in liberal news, but all over conservative news as well. He will be known as the great domestic terrorism, the great domestic terrorist, the great massacre. He is an insurgent. He is a white supremacist. But because he is black, we're not supposed to talk about it. Because black people apparently, black people can't be racist. Apparently. I mean, you people. Oh my God. It is 2021. And you guys are acting as if it's like in the 1800s. I mean, Jussie Smollett. I mean, I don't know what to tell you, bro. I mean, you kind of deserve that, you know. I hope you enjoy your time in prison. I mean, he got what, like 5 out of 6 felon charges. He was found guilty on 5 out of 6 charges. I mean, I think he's looking at up to 20 years in prison. Up to 20 years in prison. I mean, but shit, he's gay. He might enjoy it, actually, you know. I don't know if you could call it a punishment. I mean, you could call it a punishment if you put him in the women's section of the prison. You know, he's going to get touched up by all the women. He's going to be, help, get me out of here. All this women's touching up on me. Oh my God. Whew. A bunch of freaking losers, man. Bunch of freaking losers. And I mean, I don't want to go into the deep dive statistics and whatnot. But I mean, if you look at the numbers, I mean, 96% of black murder victims, they are killed by their own people, by other blacks. I mean, abortion sites, they target black communities. But they don't talk about that. Black Lives Matter. They don't talk about that. I live in Chicago, bro. There are black on black massacres happening every single weekend. Every single week. Black Lives Matter, crickets. Antifa, crickets. Joe Biden, crickets. Lori Lightfoot, crickets. That's how much they care about black people, folks. When Donald Trump was president, black unemployment, Latino unemployment, record lows. Crime on the streets, low. Now, crime is surging. I mean, CDC, they just said, you know, overdoses in America surpass 100,000 for the first time. I mean, that's what happens when you lock everybody down. When the economy is bad. when you open up the borders and let all the drugs and the criminals pour in. I mean, what is racist about having a safe and secure border? Every single country deserves a safe and secure border. I don't know why I'm whispering. Creepy Joe. You know? I mean, gas prices are up, crime rising, more COVID cases and deaths this year than last year. The supply chain crisis, foreign policy debacles, Afghanistan, and more. I mean, what has this dude done that is good? I mean, record high inflations, small business. My family, my relatives, they own a couple small businesses, and we're getting fucked. We're getting fucked. Thank you, Joe Biden. And what's up with all these tyrannical mandates? I mean, this dude, he does not know what the fuck he's doing. He's messing up everything. And if you want to really talk to me about racism, like I just said, the majority of black murder victims are killed by other blacks. More white people are killed by cops every single year. Okay? And if you want to say, oh, there's a higher percentage of blacks getting killed by cops. And you know why? Because there's a higher percentage of young black males committing violent crimes than young white and Latino males. That's why they are arrested at a higher percentage. I mean, you look at the math, it all, it makes sense why they're getting targeted more, because they are more likely to commit crimes. I mean, it's that simple. It's that simple. I mean, you have a group of people who make up 12% of the population, but they account for over 50%, over half of the murders in America, and it's mostly black on black. I mean, imagine if this country does not have police officers, if it doesn't have prisons. I mean, black people, they will be out there killing each other left and right. Nobody would stop them. The amount of black people that would get killed in a year would like triple and quadruple. I mean, nobody talks about how police officers save black lives. And I'm going to tell you something. They save a lot of black lives. They save a lot of black lives. And that's something that BLM does not want you to hear. They don't want you to hear this. They don't want you to hear this. The Republicans are supposed to be racist, man. You know the party of Abraham Lincoln? You know the party that freed the slaves? You know that party, And people say, oh, white people are hunting black people in the street. I mean, if you were listening to anything I was saying moments ago, that's not true. If anything, black people are hunting black people in the streets. Just like back in the day where your ancestors were sold to the Europeans by other Africans. I mean, Africans were hunting other African tribes, people from other African tribes, and selling them to Europeans as slaves. Just to make a quick buck, guys. Just to make a quick buck. Okay? So it's been like that in the past, and it's still like that now. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. And if you want to talk about this, deportation stuff, oh, Trump's so racist, Barack Obama, he deported more illegal immigrants than any other president in United States history. And that was with Joe Biden as his VP. I just want to put that out there. Obama, he's not racist because he's a black liberal. He's a liberal. It's okay. He has black liberal privilege. But I mean, if you're, lift every black voice, right? Lift every black voice. But if you're Larry Elder, if you're a black conservative, you're a coon. What? I mean, do you people hear this? I mean, are you guys like listening to this? All this hypocrisy? Man, honestly, I don't even know how or why they even have you guys fooled in the first place. And on and you know there are more black millionaires and billionaires in this country than any country in the world combined. And our 44th president, who served for 8 years, is African American. More Asian Americans, I mean, the most successful group in America in terms of life expectancy, average household income are Asian Americans. If this country was so racist, then why would they allow Indian Americans, Chinese Americans, Taiwanese Americans to be so successful? And let me tell you this. People say, oh, you know, America, the life expectancy is not as high as countries like Switzerland and Japan. That means our country is inferior to those countries. That's what they're trying to tell me. But let me tell you this. Our country, the reason why the life expectancy isn't the highest is because we have multiple groups of people. And there are certain groups of people that have very low life expectancy because of their lifestyle, because of their choosing, because of what they do with their life. You know, there are many races, many groups of people. That's why our life expectancy in some groups is high, some groups is low, and it balances each other out in the middle. But if you look at the numbers, Asian Americans are the longest living possibly group in the world. Asian Americans, Asians that grow up and live in America, they live longer than Asian people in Asia. Latino people that live in America, they live longer than Latino people that live in Latin countries. African people that live in America, African Americans, they live longer than African people in Africa. People in Switzerland that live in America, they live longer than Swiss people that live in Switzerland. Japanese American people, you know, Japanese people that live in America, they live longer than Japanese people who live in Japan. So yes, this country is a country with full of opportunities, equal opportunities, it's a country with equal opportunity, but you have to go out there and grab it. You got to work hard for it. You know, but why is there a class system? Why are there rich? Why are there poor? Why are there middle class? The reason why is, yes, this country is an equal country, but the reason why not everybody is, you know, equal is because not everybody is built the same. Some people are built to be geniuses. They're smart and they're hardworking. So they become super successful. But there are certain people that are not that bright, that are lazy, not hardworking. So, I mean, that's why. That's why they're at the bottom. And people who are smart and hardworking, they're at the top. But there are people in the middle. Some people are very smart, but they're lazy. Or some people that they're not that smart, but they're hardworking. You know, and those people fit in the middle. You know, this country is a country that gives out equal opportunity, but you have to go out there and grab it. You know, and to me, certain groups in America, you know, they're not hardworking, or they have a bad mentality. They have a bad mindset that holds them back. They have a victim mindset. Oh, I'm a victim. I'm a loser. No matter how hard I try, I'll never make it in life. So I'm not going to even try. That's the type of mindset that will render you a loser for the rest of your life. It is what it is. If you got a bad mindset, a bad mentality going into life, and you make bad decisions left and right, you know, you're going to end up in a bad position in this country. You work hard, you live clean, you don't go around committing crimes, you make good decisions, you don't have kids out of wedlock, you know, you have kids when you're financially stable, you work hard, you make right decisions, you're going to be fine. But if you go out there, you're lazy, you don't work, you commit crimes, you make bad decisions left and right, you're paying child support left and right, you're going to be broke. You're going to be broke. And that's not the white man's fault. It's not. It's not the white man's fault that you decide to make some dumbass decisions. I mean, these people, they go out in life. They commit crimes left and right. They have kids out of wedlock left and right. And they blame the system. They dropped out of school before even finishing high school. And they blame the system. They blame the white man. Oh, it's the white man's fault. I don't know what to tell you guys, man. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, man. Come on now. Ah, man. You guys are crazy. And another topic that I actually want to talk about, I want to talk about, this whole transgenderism type thing. I mean, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. You have biological men that are competing in sports against women, and they are destroying the woman. They are destroying the competition. They're beating everybody. They're winning championships, and they're smashing records, historic records by a mile. And if this continues, if this keeps up, I promise you, in about 10 years, there will be no more legitimate women in women's sports. It will be all dominated by biological males. They will take over women's sports, women's leagues. There will be no longer, not even a single biological women. And that is insane. That is insane. Listen, hear me out. If you transgenders, if you guys want to have your own league, do that. Do that. If you want to do that, okay, let's have a males league, let's have a transgenders league, and let's have a women's league. But don't mix the two. Because biological men are superior athletes to women. They are built differently. And that's the science. They are built differently. They have higher testosterone, higher muscle mass, higher bone density, higher lung capacity, more red blood cells, higher VO2 maxes, a higher aerobic ability, and etc., etc. You can't pit a man in a weightlifting contest against a woman. You can't put a man in a boxing match against a woman. That is ridiculous. But that is what's exactly happening in America. You can't have a male football player playing in the NFL, with women. You can't have Tom Brady playing against women. You can't have LeBron James playing against in the WNBA. You can't have Michael Phelps racing a bunch of female, swimmers in the Olympics. It's unfair. It's ridiculous. I mean, imagine if you have a daughter. She's working all her life to get to that position. And she gets her spot taken by who? By a dude. It does not make any sense. It does not make any sense. So much for women's right? And now you have biological men, guys with their penis and their nut sacks, and they're going into female bathrooms. And there are some dudes who are straight, but they pretend to be, a transgender, just so they could go in there and be a creepy Uncle Tom. I mean, What was that phrase called? A creepy what? A creepy Joe or something like that? Not an Uncle Tom. An Uncle Tom is a, you know, whatever. Just to be a creepy old dude, just to stare at, naked women, sick people that want to stare at, a minor, a minor, a little girl, and that has happened, So with the whole thing, if you want, you need to have your own transgender bathroom. I don't want, you know, if I have kids, right? If I have a daughter, I don't want a creepy dude to walk in there and or in like a bathing room or a spa or something like that. I don't want a dude walking around with his nutsack hanging out, with my wife and my daughter in there. It's just wrong, man. It's wrong. Oh my god. Oh, oh. And don't even get me started on all the pronouns, all the genders. I mean, you guys are pulling a new gender out of your ass every other day of the week. I mean, it's insane at this point. It's insanity. Male and female. That's it, man. Male and female. You're either a male or a female. That's how it is. And you want me to talk about another topic? I'm gonna talk about this: the pay gap, the supposed pay gap. People are saying, "Oh, men, on average, they are paid more than women per year," and there's something wrong with that statistic. And let me tell you why. Men, they are the provider of the family, right? So they're gonna work a lot. They're gonna work overtime. Sometimes they're gonna work two jobs. But women, they have kids at home. Sometimes they can't work a full-time job. Sometimes they work a part-time job, and sometimes they don't even work at all. That's why, on average, men, they work more. They work more jobs. They work longer hours by far. They work a lot more than women in terms of, working outside and getting paid. Women, they work too. They work, sometimes they work a full-time job, but sometimes they only work like a part-time job. And then they also take care of the kids. But that's one of the reasons why they'll make less. Number two, men, they usually work tougher jobs. When you see construction or hard jobs or jobs that are really dangerous, usually it's by men. Jobs, workplace death, mostly men, 90 something percent. Military deaths, firefighter deaths, police deaths, mostly 90 something percent, all men. So the difficult jobs, the dangerous jobs, mostly men. So guess what? Because they work the more difficult job, because they work the more dangerous jobs, and because they work longer hours. And guess what? They even retire later than women. And women, they have a longer life expectancy, but men, they actually retire later. And there's actually so much pressure on a man's back that men are, the majority of suicide victims. Majority are men because they have so much pressure on their backs. They live a shorter lifespan than women. They work more. They work more dangerous jobs. They're more susceptible to getting killed and murdered in the streets. They're more susceptible to committing suicide. Women, they always say, "Oh, it's so great to be a man, huh?" But let me tell you something. We all have our own types of struggles. People always think, "Oh, it's always greener on the other side," right? The grass is always greener on the other side, but it's not always like that. I'm not trying to downplay any gender struggle. Women, they have their own struggles. Men, they have their own struggles. And let me tell you this: what my mother had to go through, I will never fully understand. But what I will go through in the future, my daughter, she'll never get to understand. And I'm not saying anybody's life is better here. I'm just telling you that we all have our personal struggles. We all have our personal struggles. Everybody's life is difficult, whether you're a man or a woman. And for women to downplay a man and say, oh, their life is so easy. He's a man. That's where I have a problem with the whole feminist movement. You guys are talking down men, calling men a bunch of rapists, a bunch of foul, disgusting beasts. But when you look at it, and they're like, oh, women, they're sacrificed so much. Men, they don't sacrifice anything. But when you really look at it, a man, he has to make a lot of sacrifices throughout his life. It's a different type of sacrifice, but it's a sacrifice nonetheless. And you guys are trying to downplay that. And that's terrible. I love my spouse. I love her. She's my rock. She's done everything for me. She's been through so much, but I've also been through so much as well. We've both been through so much. And we both played our roles. And we both, had our ups and downs. But in my opinion, we're both equally important. We both have our roles in the family. It's not that, men, they don't know anything. They don't know the struggle. Or, women, they don't know what it feels like to be a man. No. You guys are both equally important. And that's what I say, Both of the roles are as important. It's yin and yang, You can't have something without the other. But the whole feminist movement, they're always going out there bashing men. Oh, fuck men this, men that. It's ridiculous. It's crazy. I don't know, man. The whole woke movement, it's crazy. And you see it bleeding into the sports realm. You could see it bleeding into entertainment. And that's why the ratings are bloop, crash, whew, boom. And that's why the ratings are so bad. Because they're bringing politics. They're bringing bullshit into it. You look at BLM. They are a terrorist group. They've burnt the city down for the past 6 months. And they, conveniently, they always appear a couple months before every single election, right? It's conveniently so. It's bullshit, but it's crazy. Parents are domestic terrorists. Then what does that make BLM? It's crazy. The FBI is targeting parents because they are upset about critical racism theory, brainwashing their kids. They deserve to be upset. And what's up with these mandates? You're going to mandate a 5-year-old, 5 to 11, to get a vaccine in order to go to school for a virus that kills less kids than the flu? And the fact that they are even forcing vaccines on people who have recovered from COVID, people with natural immunity. Those people don't need the shot. You look at Florida. Florida, they are the freest state, but right now they are the state with the least amount of COVID, in terms of cases and deaths per capita. And last year, under Trump, less people died from COVID. So you guys keep saying, oh, these people are anti-science, but we conservatives, in my opinion, we know what we're doing. To me, the masks, the vaccines, that should be a decision up to the citizens. Nobody should be forced to do anything. Nobody should be. And to be honest, if the vaccines and the mask are as effective as you say they are, why do you care whether or not I wear a mask and have the vaccine? I go on to a bus, right? And the driver, he has a mask on and he's vaccinated. That's why he's able to keep his job in communist Chicago. And I have my mask. I keep it on my chin. But he's like, oh, you got to pull your mask up. You have your mask on, right? And you got both your shots, right? And your booster, right? Let me tell you this. If the mask really works, if the mask is really super effective, And if the vaccines are extremely effective, why are you worried if I'm vaccinated or not? Why are you worried whether or not I decide to wear a mask or not? If everybody on this bus is vaccinated and wearing a mask, why does it matter whether or not I wear a mask? Whether or not I'm vaccinated? I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying. It is ridiculous. And these people, they usually don't have an answer. You know, they're a bunch of sheeps. They listen to whatever their masters tell them to do. You know, I saw this quote and I forgot the exact words, but it went something along the lines of, slavery back in the day, right? They wanted to keep you ignorant by not allowing you to read and write. But nowadays, they keep you ignorant by brainwashing you with the media. And to me, it is the one thing more powerful than chains around your feet is them mentally enslaving you. To me, that is more powerful than any chain around your neck or around your feet. And they understand that. You might think you're free, but you're still a slave, and you still have the master that you serve, and you listen to every single word he tells you, whether it's true or not, whether it's backed by science or not. And that is where I have a problem. You guys are telling me that you're a free man, but you're not. And you look at the crime statistic. I mean, you look in, democratic cities. 20 out of 20 of the most violent cities in America are all ran by Democrats. And they're telling me that they know what they're talking about when it comes to crime. Oh, defund the police, right? Take away our guns, right? If you take away our guns, guess what? The criminals are still going to have the weapons. The law-abiding citizens, we're not going to have guns. But the criminals, they're always going to find a way to get guns. Illegally, through the black market, or, they're always going to find a way to get a gun. I mean, you look at Latin America. They're calling it the murder capital of the world. And they have pretty strict gun laws. I mean, like they said, like in Mexico back in the day, they only have like one gun shop. And they are still like the majority of the most violent cities in the world, like top 10, the majority of them are in Mexico or in like Latino countries. They're telling me that gun control works, but it does not work. You just look at Chicago, you look at Detroit, you look at Memphis, you look at St. Louis, and etc., etc. They don't work. And you look in San Francisco, man, smash and grab. They're going into these stores. They're smashing and they're grabbing. They're looting the whole entire place. I'm like, this is what happens when you're pro-criminal, when you promote crime, when you encourage crime in your streets, in your cities, and you uplift criminal figures like George Floyd, a career felon. And look at, they're calling Rosenbaum a guy who is a wife beater, a guy who raped 5 kids from the age of 9 to 11. Anthony Huber, also a career felon. Gage Grosskreutz, also a career felon. They are uplifting these 3 guys that attacked a 17-year-old white boy. They are considering these 3 people heroes. Pedophiles and felons. These are the people that they worship. These are the people that they worship, guys. What a sick group of people. What a sick group of people. Who is more sick and disgusting? The career felons and the pedophiles, or the people that encourage these felons, that encourage these criminals? To me, they're both equally disgusting. They are both equally disgusting. It's fucking sad, man. It's fucking sad. And when those people are your heroes, there's something wrong. There's something wrong. You know, I mean, look, a bunch of race baiters: Jussie Smollett, LeBron James, Colin Kaepernick, a bunch of losers, a bunch of attention whores. That's why I stopped watching basketball. That's why I stopped watching sports in general. I only watch the UFC because they are not woke. I only watch the UFC because they got Dana White, who is a conservative, who is a Trump supporter, who is a guy who never backed down from COVID. COVID was going on, right? He's like, I'm not gonna stop. I'm not gonna stop. I'm gonna keep going. I'm not gonna stop. And that's what he did. He didn't lay off anybody. He kept going. He didn't live his life with fear. And to his fighters, hey, if you want to wear a mask, wear a mask. If you don't want to wear a mask, don't wear a mask. And politically, you could say whatever you want. If you're a BLM, say it. If you're a Trump supporter, say it. You could do what you want to do. There is a freedom of speech aspect. And that's what I love about Dana White. That's what I love about the UFC. And plus, I'm a big, jiu-jitsu guy. I love jiu-jitsu. Wrestling, jiu-jitsu, grappling arts is super interesting. I mean, you might look at it and think it's boring, but when you get into the community and stuff like that, when you start wrestling, do jiu-jitsu, at first it might seem complicated and stuff like that, but when everything starts to click, it is so interesting and unique, and you get into that flow state. It's extremely cool. It's an extremely cool sport. And that's how I got into MMA and UFC, watching the UFC, because I was a jiu-jitsu guy, yeah. But yeah, but the good thing is it looks like the GOP is gonna landslide the Democrats in the 2022 elections, in the midterms. It looks like that. And if they do that, I believe they're gonna win in 2024, because I don't think Biden's gonna live until 2024, and they're trying to replace Kamala Harris. And I mean, if they do replace him with Pete Buttigieg, I think the duo, if Trump and DeSantis do decide to run as president and vice president, I think that duo will smash Pete Buttigieg in 2024. And I don't know who he would decide to run with. Probably like AOC or Anderson Cooper, something like that. Get smashed. Figuratively. Okay, not literally. You get it? Because they're both gay, Anderson Cooper and Pete Buttigieg. They both like it up the butt, so, get smashed, get landslide, get smashed, I'm sorry for the gay jokes, guys. I'm sorry. I apologize. That was extremely inappropriate. I apologize. Yeah, but it's looking good, man. You know what I think about this presidency? The good thing that came out of this presidency, it's exposed the radical left. It exposed how terrible the Democratic Party and how far left they have fallen. And this is only the first year, and sad to say, it's only going to get worse. And that's really bad for my pocketbook. But that also means that the Republicans are going to smash these Democrats in the next elections. But, if you're going to elect somebody, elect a true conservative. Don't elect a rhino. because rhinos, in my opinion, they're even worse than these Democrats. They are even worse. So yeah, gotta avoid the rhinos. Gotta vote the rhinos out and vote in these American first patriots. People like President Trump and Governor DeSantis. I mean, President Trump is a guy that sacrificed everything. I mean, he's a billionaire. He's rich. He has fame. He has the money. He has wealth. He has everything he wants, everything he needs. But he ran for president and he gave up so much wealth running for president, so much wealth, so much time with his family to run for presidency. And he got ridiculed. He got attacked. And, very stressful position. But he chose to do it anyway because he saw the conditions of the country that was left behind by George Bush, left behind by Barack Obama, and now by Joe Biden. And now, the more this presidency has gone by, more days have gone by, and the clearer and clearer it gets, that Trump was right all along. I voted for him in 2016. I voted for him in 2020, and I don't regret voting for him. And anybody that wants me to apologize for voting for President Trump, fuck you. This is my apology. This is my apology to you. From me to you. I'm not apologizing. Fuck that. No, fuck you. Fuck you libtards. I'm rocking MAGA. I'm rocking MAGA forever. I'm probably the only MAGA. Shit, if Jussie Smollett, you should have hired me, bro. You should have hired me. Should have hired me. MAGA boy, downtown Chicago. What's up? Yeah, it's a crazy world. It's a crazy world we live in now, man. Fucking crazy, man. When the demand for racism surpasses the supply, this is what happens. This is what happens. I mean, it's crazy, man. How many of you in my era, born into my era, has legitimately faced a hate crime? Not just like friends joking around, saying stupid jokes and stuff like that, and going a little too far and hurting your friends' feelings. Sometimes even with my friends, I joke around and I get on a roll and I go too far without realizing that I've gone too far, and I become somewhat of an asshole without even knowing. That happens to me. That happens to other people. But that's not an actual racism or hate crime, event, like an actual hate crime. Like you're getting targeted, your house is getting bricks thrown into it because you're a person of color, your car is getting smashed up, and, they're leaving messages of F you, chink, go back to wherever you came from. They throw a rock into your window and they leave that note on your door. Like, how many of you have actually been through like an actual a hate crime in America by a white supremacist? Like, I mean, I've lived all my life here. My family, they've came over to America in 1980 something. Not a single one has gone through what you call a hate crime. America, like I said, America's so racist that Jussie Smollett had to take his ass all the way to Nigeria to find 2 white supremacists. That's how racist America is. Nigeria 2, America 0. Yeah, I'm sorry for rambling so much, man. I got so much on my chest today. I'm happy that I got it out. And happy Sunday for all you guys, man. Have a good one, man. I'm signing out. Peace.